Fantastic. So the next step is step 3, which is how to create a positive writing experience with a hectic schedule. This is where people get caught up because plotting is really fun. It's where your ideas really flow out and you can kind of see what the whole story is going to be. But writing can take a lot of time. And so this is where people with very busy schedules get stuck. And I want to make sure I'm giving you some steps and ideas, tools to follow to make this a lot easier and actually effective for you. So number 1, you're going to open up Word or Google Docs. You can use good old-fashioned pen and paper if you want to do that. And all you need to do is start writing. It's pretty simple. If you want to, this is an idea for some of us who travel a lot and you're in the car a lot. That's a time where you can start speaking your story out loud and use an audio transcribe app, and it'll type up the story for you. So all you need to do is have your phone on and start speaking, telling your story, and it'll type it up for you. And all you need to do later is go back and make sure that it makes sense. So you can use Speech Notes app. It's free. Google Docs, voice typing is a feature in there that's free. Word Online to dictate. You'll just need to click dictate for that, and that's free. So if that's an option for you, if you're driving a lot and you think that you can just speak your story, that's a quick way to get your story down in paper. And then just a friendly reminder, make sure you save frequently. You do not want to lose all your hard work. So when I got like a quarter of the way, I just downloaded it as a PDF just so I had it on paper. I knew there's a whole bunch of errors still in the story, but like I just wanted to save it. And then when I got to the 50% mark, I saved it. When I got to the 75, saved it. And then when I was done, I saved it. So just make sure you save frequently just because anything can happen and you don't want to lose it. All right, and just keep writing until your draft is done. You want to keep writing, but let me show you the rules on how to do that, okay? These are draft writing rules. I want you to take this seriously because these are things that I learned as I was writing my first novel, and holy cow, I wish I understood this and accepted it earlier on because I could have finished my story so much faster. First rule, is to make it crappy. Like, just know it's going to be terrible. You're going to have cliches all over the place. You're going to be using the same words all over again. It's going to be awful. It's going to be awful. I just want you to imagine like you're just going to jump into the mud and you're just going to immerse yourself in it and just know, okay, it's gonna be terrible, but you're gonna think in your head like it's a spa day. I'm putting a nice fancy clay mask on. We're just gonna change our mindset about it, but no, we're gonna be covered in it completely. Okay. Number 2 is don't edit while you write. Ugh. I did this when I was writing my first couple of chapters. I kept going back, editing over and over again. I can't even tell you how many times I've done this, like probably for 3 months straight, just keep editing, working on the first few chapters. And then after I started writing, got more into it, I realized I don't even need the first 2 chapters. And I deleted them. I wasted so much time editing when I deleted it because I didn't realize where the story was fully going until I got to the end. I'm like, I don't even need that first part. It needs to start here. And so please don't waste time editing because you don't know where the story is going to take you. And then you'll realize you might need to make changes to the beginning later. Don't waste your time editing. I promise you that's a step saved for a later time. You're going to spend a lot of time there later. Just don't waste your time doing it now. So number 3 is to remember this draft is you telling yourself the story. You do not need to share this draft with anybody. It can be garbage, like I said. So don't be embarrassed as you're writing it. This is just for you, and it's you telling yourself the story. Terry Pratchett said that. All right. Setting goals is not enough. We talked about goal setting at the beginning, and it's very important, but it's not enough. We have to be proactive. So what I want you to do is to create a system. I want you to think right now, when is a time in my day that's consistently available to me where I could potentially sit down and write? What time is that for me? So think about it right now. What time in the day is that for me? It might be 1 or 2 options. And if that's the case, I want you to test that writing time. And I want you to sit down, test it out for like a week, see if it's working for you. And if not, move to another writing time and then stick with that. Once you find the time that works the best for you in your schedule, that's consistent, stick with it and use that time as often as you can to sit down and actually write your story. So here's how to create a positive routine so that writing is more enjoyable. And you're going to start by creating a start routine. And that could be you getting some music on. It could be you getting into your comfortable pajamas. It could be getting your favorite drink out. It could be getting your favorite snack out. It could be anything like that to get yourself into a routine, to get yourself in the right mindset, to get the world and the stresses of your mind out of your head so that you can start focusing on writing and utilizing this time as best as possible. Then once you're sitting down, do not give yourself distractions. So I say no controlled distractions, meaning you need to be on top of your game here. So for me, obviously, if I get a notification on my phone, that's going to be distracting. I don't want my phone near me. I'm going to put the ringer on and I'm going to put it in the other room so that I can be serious about sitting down and using this time to write my story. So if music is distracting to you, if having the TV on in the background is distracting to you, turn it off. Get your phone out of your way. Make sure that you're being smart about using this time. You don't want to waste the little precious time that you have in your day just to like scrolling endlessly on social media. And then have an end routine. This is important for if you're in the zone and you're writing and then you're like, oh man, my time is up, I gotta go. You can give yourself a little note so that you can remind yourself later where you were wanting to go with it. So when you come back and you've done your start routine and you look at your notes, you're like, okay, this is where I was. I remember that's what I wanted to have happen. I'm going to start there. And it's just to help you for the following day. So give yourself notes at the very end. All right, here's some reasons why you might stop in your whole writing journey. While you're writing your story, these are some of the main reasons that a lot of people will give up. Life gets super busy. And I understand there's a lot of priorities that happen. This is understandable. I get this. You start to think your idea is not good enough. You feel inadequate, or you're worried about having enough money in the future to publish your book. And let me tell you how to overcome all these hurdles. So, number one, we need to be flexible. Some days you might have only 5 minutes to write, and some days you'll have an hour or more. Just take it as it is and be like, oh man, I didn't get to write as much as I wanted to today. That's okay. I'm going to give myself a note, and then I'm going to be ready to try to attack it the next day. Sometimes, and this was my biggest problem when my kids were younger, I'd put them down for a nap and be like, well, I don't want to sit down to write because they're going to wake up in maybe just a few minutes. Well, an hour goes by and they're still sleeping. And I wasted that time because I thought, oh, well, I don't have enough time. They're probably going to wake up. Well, I didn't know for sure if they were going to wake up or not. So I should have just sat down and tried to start writing and not let that time just waste away. Prioritize your writing time. So you need to treat it like a job. Take it very seriously. When my son is at preschool, my sister, when we usually hang out, I told her, I'm like, sorry, I'm writing today. I can't go. And she's like, I know, you're crazy. I have to prioritize that time. That is my time. I don't have any distractions during that time. That's when I can get the most work done. I am going to take that time seriously. That is my time. That is my writing time. I'm going to treat it like a job. So everybody knows. And even my husband, he'll call me like, hey, I can't talk right now. I'm writing. Is there something important that you need to tell me about? No. Okay. I got to go. I'm writing. So he even knows, like everybody knows when it was my writing time, it's my writing time. And it's very serious to me. I want you to know that there's billions of people on the planet. Someone is waiting for your story. Just if you ever feel like your story's not good enough, someone is waiting for your story. Someone's bound to just love your story and is waiting for it and is probably needing it. So know that even if you get doubtful about your idea or your writing style and your ability to write all those things, just when it's published, there's going to be people who are going to love your story and there's going to be people who aren't going to like your story. It's just how it is. And we need to accept it and just let it move on and just think about why you're doing this. You're mostly writing a story for you. You're writing this book. You're going through all of this primarily for you and then for your readers second. So it's okay if they don't like it. It doesn't matter. You're doing this for you. Everyone has to start somewhere. So everybody feels awkward at first. Everybody feels overwhelmed at first. Even J.K. Rowling had a crappy first draft. Yes, even J.K. Rowling. The reason it's as good as it is now is because there's a lot of steps that she has taken from that first idea to the polished manuscript. There's so much that she needed to do and a lot of help that she had from other editors and things like that. So don't compare yourself to someone's polished manuscript. Just know everybody had to start exactly where you are. Keep that in your mind if you ever feel like you're getting into a writing slump or feel like you're not good enough. And then money isn't an issue because let me tell you, if you're worried about spending money or how to publish your book later on in the self-published program, I show you how to publish your book without spending any money. If you want to go that route, you can hire people if that's an option for you, but you don't need it if you don't want to. So don't worry about that. I will give you what you need to help you get to that point when the time is right, when your story's ready to go. And enjoy the process, okay? Like this is why you want to write a book. You want to write. You really need to kind of get into the zone and get excited about it. And that's going to help keep you motivated for the next writing time that you have, the next writing slot available to you to actually write your story. All right, here's some pre-edit sources you can use. The top two that I'm providing here is Grammarly.com. I'm sure you've heard of this. It just helps to edit your story, just to pick up the main grammatical errors that you might have included. And then ProWritingAid, which is specific for writers. Both great, have free options there. It's important for you to pre-edit your story before you share it with anybody, just because it's harder for readers to read when there's so many errors. And that's not the purpose of you sharing your story with them. You want them to give you feedback. And I'm going to explain that in the next step. If you need to cite your work, so if you're writing a memoir or if you're writing even a business type of book and you need to cite your work, here's some free reference generators. And it's Knighcite Citation Service, Owl.purdue.edu, Scribber.com, citationmachine.net, and there's a lot more. All of these are free to use. So if you're needing to create a reference list or citing in any kind of way, these are great resources for you. If you are needing to cite, pick either APA, MLA, or Chicago. It does not matter which one you choose as long as you are consistent. And if you're deciding to use APA, you're using APA throughout the entire book, that you're using those citing formats and things like that throughout the entire story. And then after you write your first draft, I want you to celebrate. Like, you need to celebrate doing something that so many people wish they would do. So you can go get some ice cream, which is one of my favorite things to do. You can go on vacation, you can go out to eat, you can have a party. Celebrate. You need to celebrate all of the even the small wins, but this is a huge win. Once you finish writing your story, you need to your draft. Once you finish writing your draft, you need to celebrate this because this is a big thing that you've accomplished. So, and if you love celebrating on social media, please tag me so I can cheer you on in your process of writing your story. It's so exciting to me. You can just find me at Self-Published Program. So in this step where you're writing your story, it may take you a month or more, or maybe a lot more. It might be how it is, and that's totally fine. You do not need to spend any money at this step. And if you're wanting some resources that I've created, I have a writing tracker bundle and then the writer's block journal. So if you ever get into a writer's block, there's some guiding questions that kind of help you work through mentally what's holding you back. You can find those by clicking the link below. All right, so now we're going on to step 4, how and why to test your story.